Under the scorching sun of the African savanna, not far from Amboseli National Park, a lone elephant slowly walks across the parched land. Its massive body sways slightly, and its steps become heavier and heavier. Dust rises with every movement, settling on its wrinkled skin. The heat is so intense that the air shimmers as if the sky itself is melting. Looking closely, you can see the cause of its suffering. The elephant's right front leg is severely swollen. An abscess is visible, oozing pus and dirt. The elephant tries to touch the sore spot with its trunk, but pulls it away in pain. Every step is difficult, but it does not stop, continuing its journey, driven by the instinct of survival. Silence reigns around him. Only the wind rustles in the dry grass, and birds circle overhead, watching the suffering giant. He walks along the dry riverbed, stopping from time to time to take a deep breath. His eyes are full of fatigue and pain, but there is still life and hope in them. At noon, when the heat reached its peak, a rescue SUV slowly moved along the dry road. Michael, an experienced wildlife rescuer who had helped animals in difficult situations many times before, was behind the wheel. His eyes constantly scanned the horizon, looking for any movement among the grass. Suddenly, he noticed a large gray spot in the distance, a motionless figure, barely visible in the dust. As he got closer, Michael realized it was an elephant. He immediately noticed that the animal was injured. One leg was swollen to a terrifying size. The elephant stood still, breathing heavily, its trunk periodically touching the ground as if seeking help. Michael carefully got out of the car, making no sudden movements. He knew that any wrong move could scare the suffering animal. Michael began to approach slowly, speaking softly and reassuringly. The elephant raised its head and looked directly at him, its eyes filled with a mixture of pain and hope. Several birds flew up from the grass as the rescuer took his last steps forward. He stopped at a safe distance, took out his radio, and reported, "Found it." Large elephant, appears to have a leg infection. Looks like an abscess. Need a vet. Michael quickly grabbed his radio and called for help. His voice sounded alarmed. "Veterinary assistance required." I repeat, urgent veterinary assistance. The elephant has a leg infection, possibly an abscess. After a while, a dusty trail appeared in the distance. A white van with the symbol of the Wildlife Rescue Service was heading towards the site. Michael breathed a deep sigh of relief. Help was on the way. Two veterinarians got out of the van, wearing the same rescue vests as Michael. One of them immediately took out a portable toolbox, while the other began to prepare antiseptics and syringes. The elephant stood calmly, as if sensing that these people had come not to harm it, but to help. Michael approached with the veterinarians, keeping the elephant's trunk under control, so that it would not be frightened by contact. One of the veterinarians carefully pierced the swollen area, and thick pus began to flow out. Carefully but quickly, they began to clean the wound, washing it with antiseptic. The elephant hummed quietly in pain, but did not move, trusting the people. Michael watched as the inflammation gradually subsided, and realized that all this was the result of their long efforts and humanity. When the rescuers and veterinarians finished cleaning the wound, there was silence, broken only by the elephant's heavy breathing. One veterinarian carefully examined the injured leg, washing it with antiseptic, while another prepared bandages and instruments. The veterinarians worked in unison, like a well-oiled machine. Every second counted, because the slightest mistake could cost the animal its life. The elephant trembled slightly, but did not resist. Its huge ears moved slightly, and its eyes, full of fatigue and pain, looked at the people with surprising trust. After the excess fluid and dirt had been removed, the veterinarians began to apply ointment and carefully bandage the leg layer by layer. The white bandages quickly hid the traces of suffering, becoming a symbol of hope. Michael took a deep breath. The smell of medicine, dust, and the fresh savanna wind mingled in the air. When the work was done, the vets took a few steps back, giving the elephant a chance to move. He slowly lifted his leg, as if to check if it still hurt, and let out a deep, hollow sound, like a sigh of relief. The rescuers exchanged glances. Smiles appeared on their faces. The elephant turned its head toward Michael, as if to thank him, and that moment became the most touching of the whole day. A human and a wild creature united for the sake of life. A few days after providing first aid, Michael and his team set off again. The savanna greeted them with the soft, golden light of dawn as the morning sun rose lazily above the horizon, illuminating the long, grassy plains and sparse acacia trees. The road was dusty, but the rescuers' hearts were full of anticipation. They were all drawn back to the place where they had left the elephant. Suddenly, a low trumpeting sound came from afar. At first barely audible, then growing louder. The elephant walked toward them calmly but with obvious interest, stepping confidently, as if to show that everything was fine. When the animal came closer, it stopped in front of Michael, as if recognizing him. The elephant gently lowered its trunk onto the rescuer's shoulder, and Michael carefully ran his hand over its rough skin, feeling warmth and strength at the same time. The rest of the team watched with quiet smiles, enjoying the moment of silent communication as the eyes of the animal and the people met. Neatly folded bandages stood nearby, ready to be removed, but no one was in a hurry now. It was a moment of gratitude, trust, and a rare connection between humans and wildlife when fear gave way to care and understanding. When the veterinarians carefully removed the last bandages, the whole team involuntarily froze. In place of the inflamed, wounded skin was now smooth, dense tissue, fresh and healthy, as if nature itself had healed the wound. Michael slowly crouched down and ran his hand over the elephant's leg, feeling the warmth and strength beneath his fingers. He remembered how helpless this giant had been when they first found him, and now his gaze showed deep relief. The elephant made a low, drawn-out sound. Not a roar, not a moan, but as if saying a grateful, "Thank you." His eyes sparkled in the sun, reflecting the figures of the people standing nearby. The rescuers took a few steps back, giving the elephant space. It slowly turned towards the open horizon of the savanna. The wind ruffled the dry grass, and the sun's rays fell on its broad back, coloring its skin with shades of gold. It paused for a moment, raised its trunk to the sky, and let out a deep call, strong and free. Michael watched without blinking, feeling a lump rise in his throat. For him, it was not just a success. It was a moment of truth. Proof that even the deepest wounds can heal if there are those nearby who do not pass by. It wasn't just treating a wound. It was an act of trust and care. Saving the elephant showed that patience, attention, and compassion can work wonders, and that a true connection with nature comes from kindness, not fear. Subscribe and help us give more animals a second chance. See you next time.